Hey everybody, welcome to Abundant Source Raw on YouTube, and in this video I just want to kind of show you guys the watermelon I got and a few tips on picking a good watermelon. There are a lot of different tips out there for watermelon, and I'm just going to kind of go through a few of them and tell you guys which ones have worked for me and which ones haven't. Hopefully you're not hearing too much noise in the background. My mom makes this colloidal silver. She's got these silver devices that lets her make her own colloidal silver, which is really nice. And so with watermelon, these ones, this here, I live in Texas, so it should, oh no, I took the tag off, but basically it's like local Texas grown watermelon, and they're really long. I don't know if a lot of watermelon is like this in other places, or it's more round, but here the seedless watermelon seems to always be these long, big ones here. And it's seeded. I really pretty much just enjoy eating seeded watermelon. I don't know, seedless usually doesn't have as much taste, I find, and also the ethical reasons of, you know, it's kind of like a seedless watermelon isn't really natural, and I enjoy kind of picking the seeds out and tossing them away, and yeah, it's not normal for a watermelon to be seedless. So anyways, some tips that I've found or just heard about is, well, the big one is people always, you know, say, you know, give it a good slap. If it's hollow, then you got a good one. Well, I think that's kind of just a way for people to sell their melons. I don't really know if I buy into that, because it can sound super hollow and still not be any good. I don't think that's a good one to base your picking your watermelon off of. And some other ones is usually it should have a big, like, golden splotch on the bottom of the melon, and that's just gonna let you know that it's good, that it's been sitting on the vine for a while. And the reason it has that big golden, like, splotch there is because it's been sitting and it's been ripening on the ground for a while, and it just creates that because the watermelon's been sitting on the ground for so long, and that's a good sign. This one doesn't really seem to have it. It's got some, like, other kind of marks on it. It doesn't have that, so I'm not sure. Honestly, I've been buying these melons for, you know, years, and I've probably gone to the store and got one of these melons every day for like the past week or so. I love watermelon, but and I've tried all these different techniques for trying to pick a good watermelon, and I still don't know how to pick a good one. I mean, it just seems so random. I do all the little techniques and things like that to try and pick out a good one, and it just some are good and some aren't in my experience. And so I don't know, there was one other thing where, like, you can look at, I don't know if the front or the back of the melon, and I don't actually know what this one is. Like, maybe if they're all aligned good, then, and, you know, all formed right, then that's probably a good sign. Honestly, I picked this one because of how heavy it was. This one was actually probably a little smaller looking than the rest of them there, but it weighed more than any of them, and to me that is the best sign that I've found to picking a good watermelon, is if it weighs a lot and it's heavier than what it looks like it should be, or compared to the other melons, then usually I find that's the best way to determine a good watermelon. But this one's kind of got a lot of signs indicating that it might not be a good one, like it doesn't have a big yellow splotch like I was talking about, and you know, it really doesn't make a very hollow sound at all. And so that's why I really question that method, because I feel like a lot of the time I found that if it's got a more solid sound where there's not much, like, hollow, you know, tone to it, I feel like those are usually the better melons, if it's just, like, solid and doesn't make that hollow noise. So I don't really know how that method came up, who came up with that, but it doesn't seem to really work for me. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I really look for. I don't know I think that the watermelons should be lighter in color. I'm not sure if they're better when they're darker or lighter, or if you need to look at like the little lines here, how to indicate when a good melon is ripe with that. I'm honestly not too sure, but I pretty much just go by size and weight at this point. That seems to be the best indicator for me, but sometimes I still get bad ones when I think I've picked a really good one, and I'm not too sure about this. I think it's going to be a good one, but we're going to cut it open really quickly and see if I made a good choice. Yeah. So like if it's not a good melon, it'll probably be really pink on the inside. And yeah, I feel like at this point I may have made a bad decision because it's not making like that cracking noise like I feel it should. So it was really heavy in the store, but it wasn't making that hollow sound, so maybe that does have something to do with it. Because good watermelon, I think, usually just kind of cracks and splits open and you hear that cracking noise like even as you're cutting it, and that's, I think, usually a good sign. So let me see here. Alright, it looks about average from what I get. It's not that red. It's probably a little more red than some of them that I've got lately, but still a little pink. So not a perfect melon, but it looks like it was probably a good choice. Let me just, oh yeah. Yeah, it tastes really good actually, better than the ones I've been getting lately. So yeah, it's not as pink, it has a lot more flavor than the ones I've been getting here lately, and so, and the biggest factor for me picking this one was it just weighed a lot for its size. Like I said, it seemed a little smaller than the other ones, but it weighed more than any of them, and so I think that's a really good sign that it's probably a good ripe watermelon. So those are my tips on how to pick a good watermelon, so hope it helped, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk with you in the next video.